moment I wake up and make a plate of waffles and pancakes, I save a little place for you. Together for hello. We're live. Hi. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Hey, how you doing? I'm the Dad Panther, writer, streamer, content creator, master of none. I'm your host on today's episode of Channel Whatever News is. We're going to talk about a show called The Morning Show. Talks about a news show in the morning, kind of like Good Morning America, The View, all that kind of stuff. It talks about a lot of that stuff, and it plays a thin line between what's real and what's not real. All jokes aside, welcome to another episode from the Critics Collective. And in this episode, I'm gonna need you to hit the subscribe button, like, follow, comment for more, notification bells on. And if there are some things in the link and you happen to click on those, we appreciate the support from the kickback. Anyways, The Morning Show, it is on Apple Plus. It is about an hour, maybe 55 minutes, give or take, each episode as I'm going through this show. Now, IMDb says an inside look of the lives of the people who help America wake up in the morning, exploring the unique challenges that is facing the team each episode. Now, for this one, I'm going to just go ahead and say, normally we don't do first impressions. Don't Look Up. You can check. I believe I reviewed that. Don't Look Up. That movie, I was on the fence about it. I guess because of certain shows that have done media behind the scenes, my standard is high. My expectations are high. So I try not to watch a lot of those shows because I feel I get let down. So I put off watching that, and recently this year watched Don't Look Up. The same thing with The Morning Show, but a little different. The Morning Show, I was actually excited about it. And I went to watch it, and both times, 2019 when it first came out, till maybe a year or so ago, I tried to watch it again. I couldn't get past the first episode. It was just so slow, and I see what they were painting. And it just, the execution, just, I was like, man, I just couldn't. So I watched Don't Look Up. I was very impressed by that. And it made me say, you know what? Let me go back and watch this show. Let me just look at it again. Maybe I just wasn't in the right timing and place mentally, whatever the case is. So I say, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch this again and just get through 3 episodes and see what happens. So let's go into this. So we're going to rate the whole thing. No spoilers. Now, we rate from a 0 to 5. So stay to the end of that. So we start to the cons. The cons of this was the pacing. Oh my gosh, it didn't change. The pacing, and I understand the story they're trying to paint and the setting they're trying to put it, but I just felt like it wasn't very fast paced. It was very slow and drawn out. I know they had to tell the stories. I know they had to bring the characters in and set up the developmenting plots and stuff. I understand that, but it just, sometimes the execution is off, and it was off on the pacing. I felt the tones of certain characters are going to be around maybe when they shouldn't, like a cat has 9 lives type of thing. And I'm like, it's unfortunate, but I feel like they're going to keep certain characters. I won't spoil anything, but I'm like, I feel like I looked at that character, saw some situations, and said, oh, they're going to be around for some seasons. Why? Because they pushed the narrative of the bigger story, not their individual story. They'll figure that out. They'll come up with something to keep them going. But the other thing, if I could think, if I was reaching of what would be kind of much, was, I would be reaching. So I don't have anything else other than those 2. The highs, I would say, the cast. I love the cast. I thought the cast was a really good lineup of the cast. Everybody, just good looking people that you can believe they were acting. You can believe, sometimes you watch these shows and the acting is subpar, that you can believe that they're doing what they're doing, they're saying what they're doing, and I appreciate that. The bigger pro that I would say is the supporting cast. The supporting cast does a better job than the main actors, and there's no shade, no disrespect, not like that, but it's so important to have that, because what it does is it adds more layers, more depth, more dimensions to the cast, the top cast that you're using, the stars of the show, if you would. And it does a great job because it creates this universe that's believable. You see someone come in the room and you know how they're going to kind of respond before they say anything, because you know these characters, and the 45 minutes to an hour feels value because you getting so much from it. Another pro I would say is the pacing changes. The pacing, to me, it looks like it changed after the first 1 or 2 episodes, maybe because it was a pilot, I don't know. But the pacing changed and it got faster, and it really, really gelled everything together. And the storyline that they were doing and what they were talking about, and I won't spoil anything, but that you get a clear cut of what that storyline is, and I think they do a really good job executing that as well as setting up the setting. And the other pro that I'll put in here, it reminded me of The Pit, it reminded me of ER, it reminded me of, oh man, West Wing, big West Wing, was the setting. The setting is just as important as the rest of the crew. And what I mean by that, like you look at shows like Murders in the Building, oh my gosh, I can't think, Residence on Netflix, where the fashion, like the wardrobe, the makeup, the hair, the settings in the background from the restaurants to the hotels are just done so nicely. It adds to the universe they're placing you in. The terminology they do, the one takes where they go through one press room to the next press room and they say we're live in 3, 2. It feels like you're in there. And I can only imagine, how does it feel in the accuracy if you're in the industry, film and television, to hear the lingo, get the pun there, to hear the lingo and see it and feel it. Now, the other thing that I enjoyed that made me think about was 2 other shows. One I think might have been on ESPN. I think it was a drama similar to this where it went into the newsroom, but the NFL came in and said, hey, we don't like it. You're making our brand look bad. And they stopped it. I can't remember the show, put it in the comments. And the other one, I believe, was called Newsroom. And I don't know if it was on HBO or it was on Showtime, but I enjoyed the heck out of that one. And so that's how I'm gonna go with my highs and lows. Now it's time to rate this thing. Here we rate things from a 0 to a 5, with 5 being excellent, 0 being horrible. I'm just going to walk you through what I was thinking about this before I go into my thing. Now I do understand that this has won awards. I think for this one it was nominated, or it won 4 primetime Emmys, and it was nominated 122 total nominations and won 20 in that first year. Or no, maybe not the first year, maybe collectively. Now I still have to watch the rest of the season, so you're going to see more of this face. But for me, I just really enjoyed it. But at first, I can't go on. I felt like there were some flaws in the pacing throughout the season, even though it did get better. I felt like certain things were kind of drawn out. They did, let's see, a SAG award for Jennifer Aniston, and Billy got an Emmy for supporting actor. And then the show had 3 Emmy nominations in that first season. So that's very impactful. And I just wanted to say that because I'm like, the talent is there. If you're not watching, I would recommend watching it. To me, I'm going to give this rating a 4. I wanted to give it a 5. I want a chicken nugget. But I didn't give it a 5 for the fact of it just, the pacing was off. I understand they had to build the storylines from it, but some other shows, again, like the West Wing, ER, The Pit, just to name some of them, they get it going immediately. And those shows have different pacing. ER is a little faster, Pit is a little faster, West Wing slower, but they get it going early on, and you adapt and you see it's not as fast as like 24, but you get it going in. So I would say it's a strong 4. I would recommend watching this. I cannot wait to end this episode and go and watch the next season and come right back and tell you how that one is. I'm binging the hell out of this show. But you could have been anywhere in the world and you chose to be here.